Hey everyone, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. The latest build of the BFA beta has finally updated the regular game world to reflect the events of the Battle for Lordaeron and the burning of Teldrassil. This means that we get to answer a burning question. How does it actually work? Can we still visit these cities? All of that stuff. So today we're finally going to figure all of that stuff out. We're going to take a look around the new areas and what this tech could mean for Blizzard's direction with the rest of the game. First, I have a beta key giveaway though. There are 60 keys up for grabs and you can hit up the video description for more. Okay, let's kick it off with the visuals. So yeah, they've pretty much nailed it. You can really see the destruction that the Horde has unleashed in both instances. Teldrassil, I'd say one of the coolest sites in the game, and as for the Undercity, well, we do get to see something a little bit odd. So the Horde blighted the whole area, yet it appears to have been burnt clean. Now, the last time that happened is when the Red Dragonflight cleansed the battlefield after the Wrathgate incident, so perhaps we'll see something like that in the scenario's end cinematic. So things really are looking fantastic, and so far though, there is no gameplay in these areas, but I would imagine Blizzard will send us there on a quest at some stage. Now, we do know that Darkshore is going to play host to the world content of the pre-patch event, so we're likely going to see something with burning Teldrassil as a backdrop there. Now, one thing that many people have wondered is how this all works though. Can you still go to Teldrassil? What happened to the Undercity? What happens if you're leveling? Well, the good news is the Blizzard have implemented all of that stuff and they've done it quite well, so let's just hop in game and take a look. Okay, so here we are in game. Now, there is right ahead of me the new boat to Borealis, which is, of course, the capital of Teldrassil. That's where the Darnassus boat used to be, because obviously Darnassus is in a bit of a pickle at the minute. Now, let's take a look over here. We can see loads of refugees all having a pretty bad time, but I know what you're really here for. It's Darkshore, and Darkshore is now accessible via this portal. So as you can see, the place really has seen better days. It's quite a beautiful scene, but I already have some stuff planned for that in this video, and what we want to go and do is take a look at resetting it. So when we get to the very south of the zone, we see Zadormi, and of course, if we right-click on her, we get the option to flip this back to the old version of the zone. Now, if I hit the world map, just to further confirm the state canonically, this is the remains of Darnassus on the map. And if I head over to the Eastern Kingdoms, nothing loads for some reason, but as you can see, ruins of Undercity. So these are both pretty much ruins. Now, if I right-click on her, I can click this button, and I'm back to the original version of this zone. Now, if I flip out over here, what can you see? Oh, it's Teldrassil, and you can go there as you normally would. It's a little bit like talking to Zadormi in Silithus and flipping back to the old version. Now let's see what happens when we flip it back over and then fly towards the burning version of Teldrassil. Well, issue number one is that you don't see Teldrassil because it's actually a .m2, so it's basically a full model, which seems to mean that pretty much normal render distances are applying, which means you don't see it until you get a little bit closer, which is kind of clunky. So as you can see, it very much does just blip in and out of existence. If possible, Blizzard, I think it would be a good idea to at least get some sort of LOD thing so that you could maybe see a really simple version of it if you're far away. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. Of course, as with many things, as we get closer, the illusion begins to break down. So eventually I'm going to hit an invisible wall, so you cannot fly over there, and you can see that this isn't real terrain. This is, I suppose, similar to some of the techniques used to make Macari on Argus, in terms of, there's lots of little 2D boys floating about, of course. You see them from far away, so it's not really an issue. But yeah, there is a up close of the burning of Teldrassil. As for the Undercity, well, things are not looking particularly good for it. So where there used to be the Zeppelin to the Undercity, there's now just a portal that takes you here in Tirisfal Glades. And the city itself is, yeah, it's completely in ruins, more so than it was previously, and if you go down, you will start to take pretty significant damage. That's because Sylvanas has pretty much, well, she blighted the whole thing, and they very much are representing that with what happens if you try to go near. Now, as for the rest of the zone, it looks kind of beautiful. I mean, it's, okay, not beautiful, but it looks pretty cool, right? They've really done the whole destruction thing quite well. The whole area is on fire. If you look at the map, you see this massive big rift. Of course, there's Zadormi ready to take you to the old version of this zone where you can still go to the, the Undercity that you know and love. I suppose you'll probably want to do that for the transmog, or not the transmog, the heirloom vendor, but I assume Blizzard will be moving that, or at least copying it over to somewhere else. You can also see the remains of the Alliance invasion fleet. Seems like most of these boats were not needed for the journey home because most of the boys got killed. So that's lovely, and yeah, it is a pretty damn cool little scene. I imagine that people who want to make machinimas or just take pretty screenshots, they will have quite a lot of fun whenever you get access to these two zones. And of course this works just like the other stuff, where if you make a level 1 undead, you will be in the old phase of this zone, which means you can do all of your normal questing. And just to prove that, what I'm going to do is swap back to the old version of this zone, and then we're going to head over and just pick up some quests. So now that I've done that, we are of course completely back to the normal version of this zone. So if I go over to an NPC, you can see the quests are still there. Old versions of these zones, 100% intact. This is just done via phasing, so all of that content is, you know, safe. So as you can see, this was all done in a non-destructive way, and once again using their zone phasing. What's cool about the zone phasing is that it lets them have the game world reflect the current story in a way that's non-destructive. So way back in Mists of Pandaria, the Veil was completely destroyed, and that was really cool, but there seemed to be mixed opinion on it being permanent. So shortly after the Warlords pre-patch, used the phasing tech, and then again we saw that in Silithus, and now Darkshore and Undercity. So it's perhaps indicating the Blizzard don't want to permanently change the world in such a fixed way. I suppose that does just play into the thing of it's an MMO, nothing has consequences, and it's all a theme park, but at least the door is open to doing stuff like this in the future, which I think is very good. It kind of de-risks Blizzard doing properly interesting stuff with how the narrative impacts the game world, and that could be great for storytelling in the future. You could even do something like Stormwind being temporarily sacked. That's actually possible here. Now, one thing that I would love to see is the ability to do this on a subzone by subzone basis. So maybe you've got a town like Razor Hill. It could have a phase where it's in good order. It could have one where it's bashed up, one where it's completely destroyed. Doing something like this could really allow Blizzard to make their zones more engaging and more reactive. Now, we do kind of see some of this in the Warfront zones. If you go to Aratha, you can see it's, well, just the way that it works, as many elements have been updated. And this phasing tech is probably what is facilitating the uninstanced version of the Warfront zones. Basically, there's an Alliance version and a Horde version, and we know that the Warfronts are going to expand into other zones with, as an example, the Barons Warfront already being data mined. So all in all, this is quite exciting, and I'm just going to hop off now and leave you with some tasty 21:9 glam footage of the destruction. And if you've got an ultra-wide monitor, there will be a native 21:9 upload linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.